going to start a new wireframe. Put this here so we know. So, all right. So should we do this mobile first, even though you said it's a desktop app? But I'm thinking the baker probably has their phone more than their computer, right?
Because it might even be a staff member at the bakery,
right?
And they're more likely to have a smartphone, I think. So,
yeah. All right. So say they have logged in to Food for Change or Change. Okay, so this is sort of the donor UI. Mm-hmm. Then I'm thinking we can have a well, I'll just put a sticky here that says pending donations here, right? I think that the top will be dedicated to if they have anything pending, it will go here. We can design it later. But then there's a big button which is new donation, right? Yep. Or make a donation now, right? Big old button, which is really all they can click. We can make it blue. Okay. All right. So then we go to another screen. And here we have the pointy back. And then we have the donation title. All right, so what we should do is the next action here is get donation code, right? Here we should have a okay. Here we should tell them where to bring it. Bring your donation to XYZ hardware map. No, not yet. They do that when they get the code. But because this we could say this donation, this will. I'm trying to think whether we should tell them where it's going to go now, or if they only have one place they're already selected. Maybe they don't need to know, right? So
I like the idea of having a default one. But what would I think? It's a hard one. What would also be good is if I think, say, someone's not at their usual location, if it could prompt them to pick somewhere nearby as well. I don't know if that's easy to factor into this part of the workflow.
Yeah. One sec. Let me finish this. The more detail you add, the closer you'll be able to track your impact.
Great. Yep.
It's optional, but this way, it's maybe this is too much.
Well, actually, this is where it comes back. You see, with my kind of systems developer hat on in the data diagram, I had this, master detail relationship, a bit like an invoice line item,
right?
Where when they were adding this, they'd add the donation kind of top level details, and then donation items would be, each row would be whatever bit of, and that's
that
great.
Is a little that.
Point of view, but from the UI, it kind of then, it increases the friction for getting it logged.
Yeah, but we can make the computer do the hard work of parsing this, right? So we could say one item per line, or right, and then they just type, and that's it, really. So they say 10 kilograms bread. Do you have kilograms in Australia?
That's right.
Sorry,
Yep.
my ignorance. 5 kilograms flour. Right, they just type it in like that, which is easy for them to do. It's like a shopping list.
No, that's true.
And then you parse that each line and try to understand what it is on the back end.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that might be.
How many items do you expect people to do? Because they'll probably do it very frequently, right?
That's right. So the other thing is that maybe it's, if they're regulars, we could possibly prompt them with previous entries as well.
Oh yeah, that's good. So we can do. Yeah, we can just save this. And have them edit. We can either ask them to say copy from the last time, or always automatically copy and have them edit. But if we do that, it's kind of annoying on the phone to have to clean up everything. So we could add a clear
the other thing is, if you've got pending donations, possibly they can view past donations as well, and maybe even.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. You can do that.
Previous one.
Copy from past donations, and we can do it. We can do it this way. And then this one is just a list. Could be a pop-up, right?
Yeah, my other thought was on the previous page, we've got the pending donations.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a tabbed interface that, or menued interface, that there was a way of viewing their past donations as well. Although I see what you mean. It's not necessarily going to be intuitive that you would do that to start.
Yeah, I want him to do it. I wanted to do him, give him one action.
Yep.
Right, and then they do it in context.
Yep. No, I could see your thinking kind of evolving, actually.
Yeah, a little bit. So this would be bread, flour. So one day I do this, another day I do fruit, and another day I do I don't know. I'm thinking of bakery. What is a bakery? Cookies.
Yep.
And this, I think I want. Let me transform this data grid. Now, will this work? If yeah, so they can choose. All right, I'm doing fruit. I'll start. I'll start from cookies, and then I'll clean it up. And then the default is empty.
Yep.
All right. So in order not to pollute this, I'm going to put this to the side. Okay. You'll be taking this donation to XYZ hardware, and then we can add a change hub. Right, this is the default that you chose. If we have multiple hubs, depending on the donation, right?
Yep.
So we won't wireframe that right now, but okay. So that's nice and easy. Boom, make a donation. Oh, it's the same as yesterday. I click here, it fills it up, and get a donation code. And this is do we want to have this disabled until they type something, or is this completely optional?
I'm just trying to think what we'll be able to do in the. Yeah, you know what? That should be possible, actually.
Okay. All right. So it's already blue. Okay. Now what happens? They go. I'll go below here. Now we say back. This is still new donation. And now they get some instructions. CVX, I don't know, something like that. Text. Here's your donation code. So the first time we need to give them a little instruction on how to use this, but after that they can probably ignore that. So write this code clearly on your packages. Okay, then we should say, what do you want to do? Do you want to help them? Do you want to give them directions on how to drive there? They probably know how to drive there.
Yeah, it's a good point. What it could probably do is even just do a Google Maps link or something like that.
Right. Them to hardware store map. Here's the instructions.
Well, actually, it's quite cool. I know you can. I've seen in Slack anyway. You can set up Slackbot type setups where you can say, "Give me directions to here," and it'll use the Google Maps API to give you step-by-step directions. So that's not something I looked into, but that might be an option.
Well, I mean, I would stick to our core. That seems like. I mean, if this is a mobile phone, the map link will open Google Maps or
and then they can get directions.
And then from there they have step by step. Let them deal with that problem.
Yep.
But I thought I would add this, a little instructions from the hub manager on,
yes.
You know, here's a code, put it in the fridge, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Okay. So then here the buttons are open map to go to the place or go home, really.
Or the other thing is this where we mark it as delivered?
Oh, yes. Well, no, I would do it on the... Oh, they could if they want to leave that open.
Yeah, maybe they could tap a button saying I've arrived and then...
Yeah. Okay. So once you've delivered this notation, don't forget to mark it as delivered so that it can be picked up. And so then, whoops. Something like that.
Yeah. Yep.
So the flow is make a donation. The minimum flow is make a donation. I'm not even going to say what it is. Get a code. Yep. All right, I got a code. I write it down. I'm opening the map. So this is without moving your thumb. It's always in the same spot. I write it down. I open them up, and then I go. Then when I get there, if I still have this open, it will say delivered. Otherwise, let's go back here and say, let's say, pending donation. So we need a ruler, a subtitle. And so then maybe we can do this. Where we say GVH52D or some random text. And then do I want the border? And the buttons say delivered. How many will they have? They probably only have ever one pending at the time, though. One or two. One.
Yeah,
right?
I imagine so. Yeah, it's a little bit hard to know until we, get the first few going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it will depend on the size of the donor.
Right, because this could be an organization that has several bakeries or something.
Yeah, I was chatting to Matt about that as well, and I think to keep it simple, because you saw my idea of having an organization object as well, and that they're linked to that. I think we'll have to, what we may end up doing is just having one account per outlet.
Right.
Keep it simple. And maybe if we want to improve reporting in the back end, we can look at trying to link those records in future, or just as a back end process.
Yeah.
To keep the front end UI simple, I think.
Oh no. Sorry, cloud exploded. It's still in beta.
Yep.
Let's just reload. It's all auto-saved anyways.
Great.
So to keep it simple, do you think this can work? This UI like this?
Yeah, that was good.
Group these guys. So this is the donor UI. And
I like that UI actually, because that could almost be the buttons. That could be a common pattern for advancing the donation to the next workflow stage.
I think that the hub manager, the charity manager would have a very similar UI.
Yeah.
We'll do that one next.
Probably the only thing is, I think there was the opportunity to cancel a donation as well.
Okay, that's a good call.
Often, but maybe rather than having that on the main grid, maybe that would be but if they want to cancel it, they go into view the detail.
Okay, let's do it this way. Let's design that. So let's design a single donation view. I think it will be similar to this one. Let's copy from there. By the way, is this more or less what you were hoping for?
Yeah, it's brilliant, actually.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
All right. I'm having a great time.
Oh, good.
Okay, so here is, I guess we should say what it is. So this is 10 kilograms bread, 5 kilograms flour. And then the actions here are maybe the reminder of where to go, right?
And probably, again, this is me with the developer's hat. Just the date that they log the donation as well.
Sure.
I don't know if you think that's important.
Well, is it important to them?
Yeah,
I guess.
maybe not. You know, it's always something. If it's critical, it's always something we could add in.
Yeah, we can add it. I would not. Yeah, I would not do. I would not. Um, so here is
Yeah.
open map. So this is basically I'm lost. I want to go back to basically
Mm.
this, and then delivered, and then cancel. And this is red. And this is normal. And this is also normal, I would say. Because this is the primary thing that you want to do next.
Just quickly, Pelly, you've got a typo on the top of that.
Donation. Okay.
Looks better. Now, this is looking really good. It's kind of unlocking the flow of it in my mind already.
Great.
Because I've been sort of playing around with my ideas already, just in terms of the actual implementation, and was a bit stuck on a few different points. So that's good. One thing that you might have some ideas on as well is with this idea of tracking impact, was that if possible, we wanted to try to track the value of the donation.
Okay.
And we're thinking that perhaps the best person to do that would be the donor themselves.
Okay.
Time they're logging it, but we didn't want to necessarily prevent them from, that to get in the way of the process. So maybe it's something they could add.
Well, they could add it here.
Yeah, maybe, and we could parse that as part of the.
They could do. Well, we could ask them. So. Rough value. Again, it's optional.
Yeah.
And this would be house. Is that how you write it?
It's AUD. Yeah.
AUD. Sorry. AUD dollars. Put it bold. Whoops. Again, it's optional.
Yeah.
The button is already on. They'll learn that it's optional. Okay, that's good.
Brilliant. Yep.
But again, I don't think they care. I mean, they don't care while they're making the donation. We could, here, I bet there's going to be a, track your past donations button, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Or, track your impact, something like that, which we're not designing right now, but it's definitely one of the primary actions that they want to do. Right.
Yeah, and I think one of the things we had as an idea for that is to also send that sort of info as an email shot.
Yeah.
Just as an occasional ping to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Keep in touch. Yeah.
Okay. Here I put a link to the settings here.
Great.
Where they can choose the different hubs and they can, their email and all their login info, et cetera, et cetera. So let's go back to where we said. Once to start a new donation, if we can do it quickly, what it is roughly and amounts and donation code, get donation code. I think we did that. It is quick. You can do it with if you do always the same stuff, you can do it with 1, 2 clicks. If not, you type something and here we can do I don't know. And this is for when they didn't specify.
Yeah, I just thought of one we may or may not need to track it, but whether or not the items are perishable, it may be useful for that sort of inventory management side of things to know how quickly items need to be collected or if they're taking up fridge space or whatever.
But do you think a donor will always have perishable or not, or a mixture of the two? Because if it's always the same, then it becomes part of their sign-up.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We don't know.
It could be a mixture for some people. Yeah. You know, if it's, say, a medium-sized restaurant, yeah. I wouldn't worry about it too much for now. I think it'll probably...
what I think you could do is, ideally, the computer will figure that out too.
Yeah.
We could have, when you parse those amounts, maybe it could be smart enough to understand if it's perishable or not, or maybe there's a human-assisted, but that's on your end where you decide. What do you think? Because, if that's not possible, then we can think of ways to offload that burden to the donor. But the harder you make it, the less people will use this at all.
I agree. Nope, I think it's looking really good as it is, actually.
Okay. I added the price here so that when you select something, it also fills in the price.
Cool. Okay.
Okay, and then they get the code. The code is simple here. We'll say that they have to do this. Okay, and then they go and they deliver, etc. Then they come back in and they see it, they say deliver, or they can go to see it, which takes them here. And what else did we want to show on this screen?
That's probably okay for the moment. I mean, there's also the value if it's already been recorded.
Yeah, I don't know if it matters to them here.
No, or if they want to change the details.
Oh, yes, of course. Edit, right, of course. Now, all right, so now it's becoming a little busy here. So I'm thinking of doing it this way instead, where we can instead use some icons. Let's see, can I do that? This doesn't seem tall enough. Icon and label. Let me see. So map. Map to hub. Is that tall enough? I guess so. So there's that, and then there is pencil, and which is edit donation, or maybe just edit, or edit. No, that's fine. And then here is a cancel. I guess an X. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, nice and clean.
Right. So this would show a what's it called? A alert. And this would say cancel donation. Are you sure you want to cancel? Are you sure that's enough? All right, so that button would do that. This will go to Google Maps, and then that the other one would show something like this. Save. And then content info, let's say, and here we just put whatever it was. And then here we can be more direct with our wording because they know what they're doing. They've been here before. Save changes. And that's really it. And back is a cancel, right? Back goes back to this one. How does that look?
Great. Yep. No, it's provided a lot of clarity, actually.
All right. Now, we might, since we introduced this design element here, we might use it everywhere.
Yep.
For consistency, so that they don't have to move their thumb up and down.
Sure.
Because it might be useful, instead of having just a gear here, that way from wherever they are, they can navigate around. But I don't think we need to do it right now because we got bigger fish to fry. But
sure.
I would just want to put it out there. Okay, so let's see. Are we satisfied?
Yeah, no, I think at least as that I can visualize that as being something someone would use. So
it's a start. It's a start,
and I think most people would get it.
Yeah, I would think so, right? So when you start, we need an empty state, like an onboarding state, where it says. If they don't have any pending donations, we can say welcome donor, and then there can be some text here that explains the process. Onboarding text to explain the process. What a code is, how to track, stuff like that. So whenever it's empty, it defaults to this one, better than just an empty space,
Yeah, of course.
Okay. All right. Should we continue? Should we do so we did this. Start donation brings us to the hub. We did this. Do you want to continue with the rest, or is this enough? You tell me. It's been almost an hour already.
Yeah, yep. You know what? I think it's been a really good session. I think you've been really generous with your time, and I think it's already unlocked the critical part of the process, which is making the donation side of things really easy to track. So it's established quite a few of the key flows in my mind.
Sure. Why don't we? Do you want to take it from here, and then maybe we meet again if you want, or if you get stuck, or you tell me.
Yeah, sure. I reckon that's a good approach. This will give me. I can actually, take this to Matt and some of the others involved in the project, and run it past them. We can work on actually testing out some of the flows and checking the effectiveness of it, and I think it's probably enough. And Yeah, I think the collection side is a little bit more straightforward, but I might get in touch and
Sure.
let you know how we go with it. And again, let you know if it gets stuck.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I'm just adding a couple of arrows so that you know how these screens go together. Where did it go? Let me make these colored so that they don't. And then this is the okay. Awesome. Well, this was great. I had a great fun. I am very proud to have helped even just a little bit with your cause, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I wish you the best of luck. I hope it really can work.
Yeah, no, thanks very much. No, well, for a start, really impressive what we were able to get through in a fairly short space of time. It's amazing to see you're, so proficient with the tool and good at coming up with fleshing out ideas. That's where you can really see it, the power of a wireframing tool like Balsamiq.
I loved seeing how, as I was doing stuff, you got quiet because I could hear you think.
Yeah. But no, I think it's brilliant what you've been able to do, and you've been really generous with your time and the offer of the software as well. So it's really appreciated.
Yeah. It's my pleasure. All right, John, let's stop here, and we will be in touch.
Okay, brilliant. Great. Right, thanks very much, Peldy.
You bet.
See you.